Top 20 iconic fast food chains that vanished, making us miss them forever. Perhaps among you here, many have had wonderful weekend afternoons, faraway family trips, or simply a quick meal after work at a place that now only exists in your mind. Fast food. It always holds a special place in our hearts and stomachs. But sadly, not all those favorite spots from the past still exist today. Today, we're going to take a trip back in time and explore 20 iconic fast food chains that once dominated, but now are just memories. Which vanished fast food chain do you miss the most? Let's find out in this list. Howard Johnson's. Howard Johnson's? Just mentioning the name brings to mind the image of that distinctive orange roof. This wasn't just a restaurant. It was an icon of America, of road trips, of times the whole family stopped to rest on the way. It was like a familiar oasis on the highways. It started humbly in 1925 in Quincy, Massachusetts, initially just a small soda and ice cream stand. But before long, Hojo's became the ideal resting place for weary travelers. Their menu was full of familiar and comforting comfort food like crispy fried clam strips or ready-to-eat hot dogs and corn. However, what made Howard Johnson's famous was its legendary 28 flavors of ice cream. The ice cream here was so smooth and delicious that some even believed Mr. Howard Johnson himself invented ice cream, though he never claimed it. In the 1960s and 1970s, Howard Johnson's was the largest restaurant chain in America, with over 1,000 locations nationwide. But then, time passed, and competition from fast food giants like McDonald's and Burger King grew increasingly fierce. American tastes began to shift towards faster, cheaper meals. Gradually, the lights on the orange roof dimmed, and the familiar locations just disappeared. The chain gradually shrank, leaving only one location in Lake George, New York, until this last remaining store permanently closed in 2022. It was a sad end to an era, leaving many generations still longing to taste the flavors of childhood one more time. Burger Chef. Are you familiar with the giants in the burger wars? McDonald's, Wendy's? There's one more name, Burger Chef. Maybe you've never heard of Burger Chef, but did you know that at its peak, this brand was so famous that it directly targeted McDonald's Golden Arches to compete? One of the reasons for Burger Chef's success was that they were the first chain to offer a kids' meal. There's more to like at Burger Chef. That was their slogan. The company even sued McDonald's in 1979 when Happy Meal came out, claiming the idea was too similar to theirs. Burger Chef also had its own lineup of animated mascots, including Count Fangburger. Good food in a happy place is what they wanted to deliver. Burger Chef was founded in 1954 in Indianapolis, Indiana. They introduced many incredible innovations, like the Triple Threat, the nation's first combo meal, for just 45 cents. By 1973, Burger Chef had become one of America's largest fast food empires, with over 1,000 bustling locations across the country. However, even legends cannot last forever. The 1980s brought turbulent changes as Burger Chef successively belonged to General Foods and then Imasco, the owner of Hardee's. Beloved Burger Chef locations were transformed into Hardee's stores, unable to withstand the relentless competition from the giants. Finally, in 1996, the last Burger Chef flipped its final patty, quietly closing a memorable American burger legacy. Lums. Have you ever tasted beer-steamed hot dogs? If so, you might have fond memories of Lums. This restaurant chain originated from a small hot dog stand in Miami Beach in 1956. Lums quickly won over customers with its flavorful beer-steamed hot dogs, a unique breakthrough no one had thought of. By the early 1970s, Lums was everywhere, opening over 400 bustling locations coast to coast, even reaching Puerto Rico and Europe. They were so successful that the owners, brothers Stewart and Clifford Pearlman, even bought the iconic Caesars Palace Hotel in Las Vegas in 1969. Then, in 1971, they sold Lums to businessman John Y. Brown, who tried to make new changes, most notably introducing the Ollie Burger, a legendary recipe from famous Miami chef Ollie Gleichenhaus. Many customers flocked to Lums for this Ollie Burger. Additionally, this 24-hour chain was Sara Lee Corporation's effort to compete with Denny's. Is the seafood at Lums fresh? It's fresh every day. However, the good fortune didn't last forever. After the Swiss company Wienerwald took over in 1978, financial problems began to surface. By 1982, Lums had to file for bankruptcy, marking the beginning of its gradual disappearance. The last restaurant quietly closed in Bellevue, Nebraska, in 2017, ending a memorable chapter in casual dining history. Nevertheless, for those lucky enough to enjoy a beer-steamed hot dog at Lums, the memories linger, always seasoned with a bit of nostalgia. There's a spiritual successor called Ollie's Trolley still in Washington, D.C., if you want to find a little taste of nostalgia. Red Barn. Have you ever imagined a restaurant shaped like a red barn? That was the idea behind Red Barn. In 1961, in Springfield, Ohio, 3 friends built a charming fast food store shaped like a big red barn in the countryside. Families flocked here, eager to enjoy favorites like the legendary Big Barney Burger, notably launching even earlier than McDonald's Big Mac. Red Barn quickly became an iconic gathering spot across the US, Canada, and even Australia, boasting up to 400 bustling locations. They were also pioneers in trends, introducing the famous Barnbuster Burger and being one of the earliest self-serve salad bars. An interesting detail mentioned is their fried chicken, which was deep-fried and prepared in a custom-designed pressure fryer for the Red Barn chain. "We've got new ideas," was their slogan. However, the golden age didn't last forever. Problems arose when Red Barn was acquired by City Investing Company in 1978. Sadly, the parent company's real estate interests overshadowed the burger business, leading to dwindling support and declining popularity. Eventually, the franchises disappeared one by one, until Red Barn finally quietly closed in 1988. Many remaining locations were converted into McDonald's restaurants. Today, nostalgic customers still smile warmly, remembering the simple days when eating in a bright red barn felt truly special. Gino's Hamburgers. Just hearing the words Gino Giant immediately brings back the taste of Friday night burgers with friends. In 1957, Gino's Hamburgers was born in Dundalk, Maryland, founded by Baltimore Colts legends Gino Marchetti and Alan Amesh, along with friends. Immediately, everyone loved their signature juicy sauce-laden burger creations, the giant Gino Giant Burger, loaded with toppings and premium steak sandwiches. To add to the appeal, Gino's cleverly partnered with Kentucky Fried Chicken, offering Colonel Sanders's famous crispy fried chicken right alongside their delicious burgers. Before long, families and football fans flocked to Gino's counters at over 300 locations scattered throughout the Mid-Atlantic region. However, as the 1970s transitioned into the 1980s, this favorite burger joint began to feel the heat from larger chains. Growth slowed, profits dwindled, and eventually, the Marriott Corporation stepped in, converting most Gino's restaurants into Roy Rogers locations in 1982. For many loyal customers, it felt like losing an old friend. Although the restaurants are gone, the memories of biting into those legendary burgers, laughing with friends under the bright neon lights, have endured warmly for decades, keeping alive the legacy of a beloved eatery that once proudly served both burgers and chicken buckets, and did it so deliciously. Do you still remember the taste of iconic classics like the legendary Ollie Burger from Lums, or the topping-loaded Gino Giant from Gino's? Or maybe it's the atmosphere and service that stuck with you the most. Let us know what stands out in your memories. Sambo's. Do you remember a breakfast spot from back in the day whose name alone caused controversy? Founded in 1957 in sunny Santa Barbara by partners Sam Battistone Sr. and Newell Bonnet, the American-style diner, Sambo's quickly became a fixture in communities across the U.S. Combining the founders' names and coincidentally referencing a children's story that would later cause fierce debate, they created a cozy place specializing in fluffy pancakes, juicy burgers, and classic comfort food dishes. Families flocked here, drawn by the affordable meals and colorful murals depicting scenes from the story of Little Black Sambo. However, as the chain rapidly expanded to an impressive 1,117 locations by 1979, trouble was brewing beneath the surface. The murals and the name, once seemingly innocent, soon sparked protests and legal challenges over racial insensitivity. Coupled with financial missteps, these issues sent the chain spiraling towards bankruptcy. By 1981, most Sambo's locations had closed or changed ownership, marking the end of an iconic, albeit controversial, chapter in American dining history. The last remaining restaurant in Santa Barbara held on until 2020, when strong public backlash following the George Floyd protests finally forced it to change its name to Chad's, quietly closing the final page on Sambo's colorful, complicated legacy. Farrell's Ice Cream Parlor. Not many restaurants announce your dessert with sirens, drums, and cheering crowds, but Farrell's Ice Cream Parlor was never just a regular restaurant. Founded in 1963 by Bob Farrell and Ken McCarthy in Portland, Oregon, Farrell's quickly captured the hearts and sweet tooths of America with its monster ice cream creations and festive atmosphere. Every visit felt like stepping into a lively festival from the 1890s with antique decor, a tinkling player piano, and a cheerful staff dressed in vibrant costumes from another era. The star dish, famously known as the Zoo, was a giant ice cream sundae paraded through the restaurant with exciting presentations, delighting children and adults alike. Their menu was printed to look like a not-too-serious tabloid newspaper, filled with plenty of jokes alongside all sorts of Farrell's sandwiches, sodas, and sweets. There was even a low-calorie menu with fake dishes, designed to ward off the guilt associated with overindulgence. Actually, there's only one place so crazy, so absolutely nutty, that everyone's having a party. By 1975, Farrell's popularity soared, expanding to over 120 locations nationwide. However, after the Marriott Corporation took over in 1972, the magic gradually faded, unable to withstand changing tastes and fierce competition. While a nostalgic revival sparked interest in the 2000s, the final chapter quietly closed in Brea, California in 2019, ending a beloved American tradition of unforgettable celebrations, laughter, and desserts, served with unmatched excitement. Little Tavern. If you can't beat 'em, join 'em. Perhaps that was the idea behind the architectural design of Little Tavern. If you ever lived or traveled in the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area, you might remember Little Tavern. This was a chain of hamburger stands that thrived for decades in that region, including Baltimore, Maryland, and Virginia. Do you remember their distinctive small buildings? Initially, Little Tavern stores were designed to resemble the buildings of the famous White Castle and White Tower in the area. But over time, Little Tavern developed its own unique architectural style, inspired by quaint Tudor cottages, helping them stand out. By 1950, Little Tavern had up to 50 locations in Baltimore and Washington alone. As one person once said, you might remember a time when you could find a Little Tavern almost everywhere in Baltimore. However, after the original owner Harry F. Duncan sold the company in 1981, the chain began to struggle. Little Tavern tried to stay open through the 90s, but eventually, the last remaining store officially closed permanently in 2008. Although it no longer exists under its original name, The Little Tavern recipe was sold to the location in Laurel, Maryland, which now operates as Laurel Tavern Donuts, retaining a bit of the flavor from the past. Doggie Diner. Never underestimate the power of a good mascot. This might be why the not-so-famous hot dog and burger chain Doggie Diner continues to live on in the memories of Californians today. Most people in San Francisco know Doggie Diner. Doggie Diner had an adorable dachshund dog head greeting customers at their stores. This icon still exists today as a national landmark in San Francisco. Even the San Francisco Giants baseball team named a hot dog they sell in their stadium after Doggie Diner. This reinforces the idea that if you serve the public honestly with good food and great service, they will remember and return. Doggie Diner served hot dogs and burgers. By serving high-quality food, it quickly became a favorite spot. Everyone craved Doggie Diner's hot dogs, hamburgers, pastrami sandwiches, and incredibly thick milkshakes. The chain operated from 1948 to 1986. However, this burger and hot dog paradise officially closed in 1986 after 38 years of operation. Pup N Taco. Who says you have to choose between getting a hot dog or a taco when you stop at your local drive-in? Certainly not the founders of Pup N Taco, who proudly served both to hungry Californians throughout the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Pup N Taco arrived on the California culinary scene in 1956, conceived by Russell Wendell as a humble drive-in in sunny Pasadena. Before long, the unique menu featuring crispy tacos, juicy burgers, flavorful pastrami sandwiches, and perfectly grilled hot dogs made it an instant local hit. These weren't the only items on the menu. Pup N Taco also served hot pastrami sandwiches, tostadas, and slushies for both dine-in and takeout customers. The chain also made a name for itself in pop culture through mentions in movies. Pup N Taco was doing quite well until the mid-'80s, when all of its franchises were sold to Taco Bell. Fierce competition from giants like McDonald's and Taco Bell, coupled with rising real estate prices in the 1980s, caused difficulties. Taco Bell quickly stepped in, acquiring 99 prime Pup N Taco locations in 1984, gradually erasing the brand from the fast food map. The last remaining location in Albuquerque quietly closed in 2013. Sandy's. If you ever lived in the American Midwest in the 50s or 60s, or if you're someone who enjoys learning about old food memories, you'll surely be interested in Sandy's. This was a fast food chain that once served hot burgers and fries to customers in a bygone era, a time before Hardee's was even on the fast food map. Sandy's emerged in the late 50s and had a rather unique start. The chain actually originated from an unsuccessful attempt to open a series of McDonald's franchises in central Illinois. Instead of giving up, they opened as a competitor to the rising success of Mickey D's at the time. Sandy's had a Scottish theme, and what made them stand out, different from the uniformity of their competitors, was that their franchises were owner-operated and encouraged to tailor their service to their local communities. You might remember familiar items like burgers, the thick shake machine, or crispy fries. However, the chain couldn't remain independent for long in the competitive market. Sandy's was eventually acquired by Hardee's in the early 70s. Today, Sandy's is just a name on the list of vanished fast food chains, a fond memory of burgers and fries from those days. Do you have any memories of Sandy's you'd like to share? Let us know in the comments. Your memories are very important here. Wags. What comes to mind when you think of the drugstore and convenience store brand Walgreens? How about sitting down for a meal at a restaurant? That was the idea behind Wags, a 24-hour diner chain owned and operated by the folks at Walgreens. They operated primarily in the 1970s and 80s and tried their best to compete with other big names in that market, like Denny's and Big Boy. With bright neon signs lit all night, Wags became a favorite spot in Chicago and Florida, offering cozy booths, unlimited coffee, and friendly smiles, even at 2 a.m. Unfortunately for Walgreens, the idea of eating in a place with a similar logo to where you buy cold medicine didn't succeed, and Wags was sold to the Marriott Corporation in 1988. Sadly, Marriott struggled to find the right formula, leading to confusion, poor management, and a decline in enthusiasm from previously loyal customers. Any remaining Wags locations eventually closed and were converted into places like Shoney's or IHOP. By 1991, the stores had quietly closed permanently, marking a surprisingly quick end for a once popular gathering spot. Minnie Pearl's fried chicken. Believe it or not, there was once a big trend, especially in the 60s and 70s, where celebrities lent their names to fast food restaurants. One of these was the famous country music figure and comedian Minnie Pearl, and the fried chicken chain, named after her. Most people said Minnie Pearl's chicken was the best, but you'll never know until you try it. The chain launched in 1966, founded by two ambitious lawyers from Nashville, Tennessee. They hoped to capitalize on the growing fried chicken craze in America, boldly competing with Colonel Sanders himself. From the playful logo with Minnie's iconic straw hat to the genuine Southern hospitality, people quickly lined up to try it. In just a few short years, over 100 franchises popped up across the country. Many factors led to the demise of Minnie Pearl's fried chicken. One was that each franchise seemed allowed to customize its own recipes, with no brand consistency. This didn't actually stop customers from enjoying Minnie Pearl's food quite a bit. However, fraud allegations related to business operations and stock prices caused the fried chicken chain to fail. By 1973, facing a decline in customer trust and increasing financial scandals, Minnie Pearl's chicken fell apart faster than an overbaked biscuit, quietly closing most locations. Burger Queen/Druther's. Although the name might sound related, this defunct restaurant chain was not affiliated with Burger King. First appearing in 1956, Burger Queen quickly became a familiar spot in Florida. I know Burger Queen had great hamburgers, and their chicken was a good meal too. Before long, dozens more stores were opened in multiple states. Although famous for burgers, they were also known for more unique features like a self-serve salad bar. They were popular enough that even changing their name to Druther's in 1981 didn't negatively affect their popularity. However, in 1990, they began shifting their focus to desserts, leading to them becoming operators for Dairy Queen the following year. By 1991, most Burger Queen locations had been renovated, ending the existence of an American culinary icon. A single franchise location still survives in Campbellsville, Kentucky. Beefsteak Charlie's. There was a time when going out to eat meant unlimited steak, overflowing glasses of wine, and memories made around a cozy table. Beefsteak Charlie's, born in Manhattan in 1910, perfectly captured this golden era. Its cozy, tavern-like atmosphere welcomed generations who eagerly flocked for hearty steaks, huge seafood platters, and the legendary unlimited salad bar. Few remember that in 1976, Larry Ellman breathed new life into Beefsteak Charlie's, expanding it into a beloved East Coast favorite with over 60 bustling locations. But there was one thing many diners didn't realize at the time: the generous offer of unlimited beer, wine, and sangria became both its signature draw and its tragic downfall. By the mid-1980s, changing eating habits and fierce competition eroded its success, leaving it in financial trouble. Efforts by the Bombay Palace restaurant to salvage the beloved brand in 1987 were unsuccessful. Gradually, each cheerful Beefsteak Charlie's door closed until the last location quietly disappeared in 2009. Wetson's. I'm sure many of us, especially those who lived in the greater New York area, might remember, or vaguely heard of, a name that tried to enter the fast food race in the 60s, and that was Wetson's. The chain was founded in 1959 and operated in the greater New York area. From the beginning, Wetson seemed to struggle to create its own identity and stand out among competitors. This might explain why the chain felt the need to imitate the slogans of big names like McDonald's and White Castle in its advertising campaigns. Even their signature burger was named the Big W, clearly a way to evoke the other famous burger. Despite its efforts, Wetson's struggled to keep up with the rapid growth of McDonald's and Burger King on the East Coast. The chain only lasted for a very short time, less than 15 years from its founding. Eventually, Wetson's merged with Nathan's Famous in 1975, closing a chapter of its operation. Although the physical stores are gone, the Wetson's brand name is technically retained in New York to this day. Wetson's is a name that brings back memories of the fierce competition in the fast food industry. Back then, where not everyone found a stable foothold. Carrols. Great. If you ever lived in Western New York or Pennsylvania in the 1960s, or simply love stories about the golden age of American fast food, then the name Carrols will surely bring back many memories. Carrols was a fast food chain founded in the 1960s. At its peak, the chain had up to 150 stores. Do you remember their distinctive mascot? It was a yellow snail. Customers back then loved their club burger. But perhaps what truly made Carrols stick in many people's minds were the glass cups printed with famous Looney Tunes cartoon characters. I'm sure many families collected the whole set of these cups. Unfortunately, the Carrols chain began to face difficulties, and their locations gradually closed around the 1980s. Although the Carrols restaurant chain no longer exists under its original name, it's interesting to note that the parent company Carrols is still operating. Today, this company is the largest owner and franchisee operator of Burger King restaurants in the world, and is also a franchisee of Popeye's Louisiana kitchen restaurants. Do you have any memories of Carrols? Did you collect those Looney Tunes cups? Let us know in the comments below. Bill Knapp's. Getting older has at least one delicious benefit, especially if you celebrated your birthday at Bill Knapp's. Founded in 1948 by Clinton B. Knapp in the cozy town of Battle Creek, Michigan, this beloved restaurant quickly won people over with its delicious homemade-style dishes like Sunday dinner at Grandma's. Families came from all over to enjoy golden, crispy fried chicken, flavorful ham croquettes, hearty bean soup, and delicious chocolate cake slices that melted in your mouth. But what truly set Bill Knapp's apart was their famous discount. Diners received a discount equal to their age on their birthday and anniversary. At its peak, Bill Knapp's welcomed guests at over 60 locations across Michigan, Ohio, Florida, Illinois, and Indiana. Unfortunately, as loyal customers aged, younger generations opted for trendier spots, causing Bill Knapp's to struggle in the 90s. An unsuccessful attempt to modernize in 1998, coupled with a harmful Listeria bacteria outbreak, further damaged their beloved reputation. By 2002, the financial burden became too much, forcing Bill Knapp's to file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy and quietly close all remaining locations. Royal Castle. Believe it or not, Florida once had its own castle. No moat, no knights, just delicious little burgers and ice-cold root beer. Royal Castle, founded in 1938 by William Singer in sunny Miami, quickly became the South's answer to the North's White Castle, winning hearts with its small, square burgers, topped with finely chopped onions and spicy pickles. Alongside those addictive little burgers, Royal Castle also delighted customers with fresh, squeezed orange juice and hearty breakfasts. In the booming 1960s, Royal Castle's neon signs lit up streets in Florida, Georgia, Ohio, and Louisiana, proudly operating at over 175 bustling locations. However, the good times didn't last forever. As fast food giants like McDonald's and Burger King flooded the market in the 1970s, Royal Castle struggled to keep up. Things took another turn for the worse in 1969 when performance systems took over, only to face financial problems and declining standards soon after. Quality declined, loyal customers drifted away, and by 1975, the once thriving chain had quietly closed, leaving behind only fond memories. A single franchise location survived after the chain was liquidated in 1975. Delights. Let's be honest, no one really goes to a fast food restaurant for healthy food. However, that didn't stop Delights, also known as Delights, from trying to offer a healthier option at a time when larger chains weren't even thinking about lighter items. The chain was founded in Georgia in the late 70s, offering healthier alternatives and ingredients. Delights offered lean beef, high-fiber buns, and low-fat cheese. One could say Delights were pioneers, but they couldn't compete when the McDonald's and Burger Kings of the world also started serving healthy alternative options. A series of unfortunate events led the company to file for bankruptcy in 1987. Ironically, many remaining Delights locations were converted into Hardee's, arguably one of the less healthy fast food options. 20 McDonald's menu items that were discontinued. When it comes to fast food, McDonald's has always been bold and innovative, but not every tasty idea sticks around. Ever heard of the McLobster or the mysterious Hula Burger? Today, we're diving into the Golden Arches forgotten menu items. Delicious, daring, and sometimes disastrous creations you never knew existed until now. McSpaghetti. When you picture McDonald's, you probably think juicy cheeseburgers, crispy fries, golden nuggets, and maybe that iconic chicken sandwich. But did you know that back in the 1980s, McDonald's decided to take a surprising detour into Italian cuisine? That's right, they introduced McSpaghetti. Imagine walking into your favorite burger joint and ordering spaghetti covered in marinara sauce. And it wasn't just spaghetti. McDonald's went all out, serving other Italian classics like cheesy lasagna and creamy fettuccine alfredo. It was definitely an unexpected twist for customers craving fast food. Although these Italian favorites vanished from menus pretty quickly in the United States, interestingly enough, McSpaghetti still pops up from time to time overseas. If you're lucky enough to travel abroad, you might just find yourself enjoying a nostalgic taste of this curious fast food experiment. McPizza. Believe it or not, McDonald's once dreamed of becoming your go-to pizza spot. Back in the 1980s, McPizza hit the menu, promising a tasty alternative to burgers and fries. At first, it was a large family-sized pizza, perfect for sharing around the table. Later, they decided to shrink it down into a smaller, personal-sized pizza, hoping to speed things up. But there was one big problem. It still took around 11 minutes to cook. For McDonald's, where speed is everything, that was just way too slow. Customers weren't exactly thrilled about waiting over 10 minutes in a fast food restaurant known for quick service. Eventually, after struggling with the timing issue and lukewarm reactions from customers, McPizza vanished from menus completely by 2000. McDLT. Back in 1984, McDonald's came up with an idea that actually made a lot of sense: the McDLT. This wasn't just another burger. It was designed to solve a common burger dilemma. You see, McDonald's knew customers wanted their beef patty hot and juicy, but also wanted fresh lettuce and crisp tomatoes that weren't soggy. So the McDLT came in a specially designed two-sided styrofoam container. One side kept the patty nice and hot, while the other side held the lettuce and tomato, keeping them cool and crunchy. People loved the freshness of each bite. But there was a catch. The styrofoam packaging wasn't great for the environment. Concerns about pollution and waste started growing louder, and by the early 1990s, McDonald's decided to retire the McDLT. McLobster. Just when you thought McDonald's had tried it all, along came the McLobster. Introduced in the 1990s, the McLobster wasn't some imitation seafood. It actually featured real lobster meat, tossed lightly with mayo, and served in a soft roll. It seemed like a promising way to bring a touch of luxury to fast food, but McDonald's quickly ran into challenges. Lobster wasn't cheap, and sourcing fresh supplies consistently turned out to be tricky and expensive. As costs rose, profits sank, and the McLobster quietly disappeared from most locations. But surprisingly, it hasn't vanished entirely. Every summer, in regions like Atlantic Canada and parts of New England, the McLobster makes a limited-time comeback, becoming a seasonal treat. Hula Burger. Back in the 1960s, McDonald's made an unusual attempt at appealing to customers who didn't eat meat. They introduced something called the Hula Burger, and it was definitely not your typical burger. Picture this: a thick, grilled pineapple slice placed between two soft hamburger buns, topped with a slice of melted cheese. Yes, pineapple and cheese. No beef patty in sight. The idea was to provide a tasty alternative for folks observing meat-free Fridays. But customers weren't exactly thrilled. Let's be honest, pineapple and cheese isn't everyone's idea of a delicious burger, and the combination was just a bit too strange. It wasn't long before the Hula Burger quietly vanished from menus, replaced by tastier, more successful options. McSoup. If you're craving fast food, you're probably thinking burgers, fries, or nuggets, foods easy to munch on behind the wheel. But imagine trying to enjoy hot soup in your car. Sounds messy, right? Well, believe it or not, McDonald's actually tried serving soup back in the day. They called it the McSoup, and it popped up briefly as an option on their menu. The problem was obvious. Hot liquid soup doesn't exactly pair well with bumpy roads and drive-thru windows. Just picturing someone balancing a steaming cup of soup, hoping it wouldn't spill on their lap, explains why this idea didn't stick around for long. On top of that, customers noticed something odd. The McSoup looked suspiciously similar to reheated canned soup you'd buy at the grocery store. Unsurprisingly, McSoup soon vanished, probably for everyone's safety and convenience. What's the strangest McDonald's item you remember trying? Onion nuggets. For decades, onion rings have been a beloved sidekick to burgers at diners and fast food spots everywhere. So, naturally, McDonald's wanted a piece of the action, but with their own twist. Instead of simple rings, they introduced onion nuggets back in the 1970s. Imagine crispy chunks of onion, lightly battered and deep fried until golden brown. Honestly, they sound delicious, like bite-sized onion ring snacks. You could easily pop them into your mouth while enjoying your favorite burger. But sadly, these little nuggets never quite caught on, quietly fading away from menus. And sitting right beside those crispy nuggets was another ambitious idea: the chopped beef steak sandwich. Both items seemed tasty enough, but neither stood the test of time. Today, onion nuggets are remembered fondly as one of McDonald's more creative side dishes, leaving fans wishing they'd hung around a bit longer. Fruit and walnut salad. Back in 2005, McDonald's made another attempt at offering a healthier, fresher option with the fruit and walnut salad. It wasn't your typical salad with greens. Instead, imagine crisp apple slices, juicy seedless grapes, sweet candied walnuts, and creamy yogurt to tie everything together. It was colorful, refreshing, and honestly pretty tasty. The idea was simple: offer customers a lighter snack or breakfast option that still felt indulgent. But despite the appealing mix of fruit and nuts, customers just didn't bite. Turns out, most people weren't heading to McDonald's to pick up fresh fruit salads. Burgers, fries, and milkshakes were still the main attraction, and healthier menu items, like this, never caught fire. Eventually, the fruit and walnut salad quietly disappeared from menus, another reminder that people still saw McDonald's more as a place for indulgence than health food. What creative new food idea would you like to see McDonald's try next? Mighty Wings. In 2013, McDonald's decided to spice things up by introducing Mighty Wings, hoping to attract chicken lovers who wanted a little extra kick. These weren't your typical boneless nuggets. They were actual bone-in chicken wings, generously coated in a crispy, spicy breading. McDonald's had high hopes that these wings would become the next big thing, offering customers something bold and different from their usual fare. But unfortunately, customers weren't convinced. The wings didn't fly off the shelves like the company expected, and soon McDonald's found itself stuck with a massive surplus. In a desperate attempt to clear out all those leftover wings, they dropped prices drastically. Even then, Mighty Wings failed to catch on. Eventually, after selling off the extra supply, McDonald's quietly retired the wings for good, making Mighty Wings another interesting but short-lived chapter in the company's history of menu experimentation. Fish McBites. In 2013, McDonald's thought seafood fans deserved something new and snackable on their menu. So they introduced Fish McBites, small, crispy bites of flaky white fish covered in golden batter. Think of them as the seafood version of Chicken McNuggets, bite-sized, crispy, and perfect for dunking in creamy tartar sauce. They sounded tasty enough, and McDonald's hoped they'd become a popular snack option or a new go-to during Lent. Unfortunately, Fish McBites never gained traction. Maybe customers simply preferred the classic Filet-O-Fish sandwich, or perhaps fried fish nuggets were just a step too far for fast food fans. Whatever the reason, Fish McBites didn't stick around long. By the end of 2013, they quietly vanished, becoming just another quirky entry on the long list of McDonald's menu experiments that didn't quite catch on with the public. Son of a Mac. In 2007, McDonald's came up with a clever twist on one of their all-time classics, the legendary Big Mac. They named it Son of a Mac, and the idea was pretty straightforward. Imagine taking a Big Mac, complete with that signature sesame seed bun, crisp lettuce, melty cheese, pickles, onions, and of course, the iconic special sauce, but making it smaller. Instead of 2 beef patties stacked high, the Son of a Mac featured just one. It was designed for customers who craved the Big Mac taste without wanting to tackle such a hefty sandwich. Unfortunately, the simplified version didn't quite catch on. It soon disappeared from menus, leaving behind fans who loved its perfect balance. Today, even though the Son of a Mac is gone, you can still create your own by ordering a burger and asking for that irresistible Mac sauce. Spanish Omelet Bagel. In the early 2000s, McDonald's decided breakfast needed a fresh, flavorful upgrade. Enter the Spanish Omelet Bagel, a unique blend designed to spice up your morning routine. Imagine a fluffy egg omelet paired with savory sliced ham and melted cheese, all tucked neatly between a toasted, chewy bagel. To top things off, McDonald's sprinkled in spices and seasonings inspired by Spanish cuisine, hoping to create a tasty twist on traditional breakfast sandwiches. But despite the flavorful ingredients and tempting description, customers weren't convinced. Perhaps the combination was too adventurous, or maybe people just preferred simpler options in the morning rush. Either way, the Spanish omelet bagel didn't sell as expected. Within a short time, it quietly disappeared from the menu, joining the list of McDonald's breakfast experiments that didn't quite wake up customer appetites. McStuffins. Remember when Hot Pockets first became a huge success? Everyone loved those tasty handheld snacks you could pop into the microwave. McDonald's thought they'd take that idea one step further, launching their very own version called McStuffins. Introduced in the early 90s, McStuffins were warm, stuffed sandwiches wrapped in a crispy French bread crust, kind of like a fancier gourmet Hot Pocket. Customers could pick from fillings like savory pepperoni, pizza, tangy teriyaki chicken, and other bold flavors. On paper, McStuffins sounded delicious and convenient, but customers weren't exactly lining up for them. Maybe folks preferred burgers and fries when hitting the Golden Arches, or perhaps McStuffins felt just a bit too different. Whatever the reason, sales never took off, and before long, McStuffins quietly disappeared. McJordan. Back in the early 1990s, Michael Jordan wasn't just dominating basketball, he was everywhere. McDonald's decided to capitalize on his superstar status by creating the McJordan, a special sandwich tested exclusively in the Chicago market. At first glance, it seemed pretty simple. A cheeseburger on a sesame seed bun, topped with pickles, raw onions, smoky barbecue sauce, and crispy bacon. But there was one distinctive twist that made fans take notice. The bacon wasn't your standard strips. It was shaped into neat, round slices, perfectly matching the burger patty. This circular bacon not only looked cool, but it also promised bacon flavor in every single bite. Though the McJordan was a clever idea, its popularity stayed mostly local, and it eventually vanished from menus. Still, the McJordan lives on as a tasty piece of fast food history from the era when Michael Jordan ruled the world. Mixed salad shakers. Back in the early 2000s, McDonald's decided it was time to get a little healthier. So, they introduced the mixed salad shakers, a clever twist designed to make salads fun and easy. Picture this: fresh greens, crunchy veggies, and tasty toppings all packed neatly into a tall, clear cup. Basically, the same container you'd get a McFlurry in. The idea was simple. Pour your favorite dressing into the cup, snap the lid closed, and shake it vigorously. Suddenly, your dressing was perfectly mixed, coating every bite of lettuce evenly. It was quick, convenient, and pretty entertaining to prepare. But despite the creativity and convenience, customers weren't convinced. Maybe salad in a cup was just too unusual, or perhaps burgers and fries were still king. Eventually, sales stalled, and McDonald's shook these salad cups right off their menu, leaving them just a quirky memory. Chicken selects. Back in 2004, McDonald's wanted to shake things up by offering a slightly healthier twist on their beloved Chicken McNuggets. They introduced chicken selects, premium chicken strips that featured whole pieces of tender chicken breast meat. These strips were bigger, meatier, and definitely looked fancier than regular nuggets. But despite their upscale appearance, chicken selects were still deep-fried and crispy, keeping that familiar fast food crunch. McDonald's hoped customers craving something a bit more substantial, and maybe even a bit healthier, would embrace these premium chicken strips. Unfortunately, selects never quite caught on the way McNuggets did. After years of disappointing sales, McDonald's removed chicken selects from their menu. Then, in 2015, they briefly reappeared as a limited-time offering, giving loyal fans a brief chance to enjoy them again before once more vanishing into the archives of McDonald's discontinued menu experiments. Angus Burger. In 2013, McDonald's decided to go upscale and compete with the trendy gourmet burger restaurants popping up everywhere. They introduced the Angus Burger, a premium sandwich made with thick, juicy Angus beef, cooked fresh and seasoned perfectly. This wasn't your typical fast food burger. It came with higher quality toppings like crisp lettuce, ripe tomatoes, crunchy onions, flavorful cheese, and special sauces, all stacked between a bakery-style bun. Customers loved it because it felt fancy and tasted like a restaurant-quality burger. But as delicious as it was, McDonald's soon faced a tough reality. Beef prices kept climbing higher and higher. Eventually, the Angus Burger became too expensive to keep on the menu at an attractive price. Despite its popularity, the burger was pulled, leaving fans disappointed and wondering if they'd ever get another chance to enjoy McDonald's premium take on a gourmet burger. Superhero Burger. Back in 1995, McDonald's wanted to ride the wave of superhero mania tied to the blockbuster film Batman Forever. So, they unleashed the Superhero Burger, an impressive sandwich meant for superhero-sized appetites. Picture this. 3 sizzling beef patties stacked high, layered generously with fresh lettuce, juicy tomatoes, and topped off with both classic American cheese and a spicy kick from pepper jack. It was bold, ambitious, and honestly, a little overwhelming. Customers weren't quite sure what to make of it. Was it a burger for superheroes or just super hungry folks? The confusion may have been its downfall because, despite the catchy movie tie-in, the Superhero Burger didn't stick around for long. It quickly vanished from menus, leaving behind only memories of a tasty but short-lived experiment, and proving even superheroes can't guarantee fast food success. McHot Dog. In 1995, McDonald's decided to step outside their comfort zone and serve up something you'd never expect under the Golden Arches, the McHot Dog. As straightforward as the name sounds, it was exactly what you'd imagine. A classic hot dog nestled inside a soft, warm bun. McDonald's tested it in the Midwest, hoping customers might want something simple and familiar. But despite its simplicity, the McHot Dog just didn't take off. Maybe customers preferred grabbing their hot dogs at ballparks or backyard barbecues. Or perhaps the McHot Dog just didn't feel quite right coming from a place known for burgers and fries. Eventually, McDonald's pulled it from their US menu. But here's the interesting part. If you're craving a McHot Dog today, head over to Japan. There, the McHot Dog remains a popular menu item, proving some tastes vary greatly around the world. Arch Deluxe. In 1996, McDonald's tried to reinvent the classic hamburger by going upscale with the Arch Deluxe. This wasn't just another simple burger. It was marketed as a gourmet version, specially crafted for adults looking for something more sophisticated. Picture a juicy quarter-pound beef patty topped with crispy lettuce, ripe tomatoes, sliced onions, tangy mustard mayo sauce, and smoky peppered bacon, all served on a fresh bakery-style bun. McDonald's even promoted it with ads featuring chefs, hoping customers would see it as a step above the ordinary fast food burger. Despite the hype and extensive advertising, the Arch Deluxe didn't resonate with customers. It turns out people weren't looking for gourmet at McDonald's. They just wanted the simple classics they already loved. Soon after its release, the Arch Deluxe quietly disappeared, proving that sometimes simpler really is better. McFeast. With a name as grand as the McFeast, you'd expect this burger to deliver something pretty special. Originally hitting menus several decades ago, this sandwich was McDonald's way of offering a burger packed with flavor and fresh ingredients. Picture a juicy beef patty topped with crisp lettuce, ripe tomato slices, mustard, ketchup, and the star ingredient, a tangy, creamy sauce known as McFeast Deluxe Sauce. This sauce is what set the McFeast apart, giving it a unique taste fans couldn't get enough of. Although it quietly faded away in many parts of the world, the McFeast wasn't gone forever. In fact, Australians saw the return of this classic sandwich in 2014, and it became an instant hit all over again. Today, the McFeast remains popular down under, proving that a good burger and a tasty sauce can stand the test of time. Hot and Spicy McChicken. Back in the early 2000s, McDonald's decided to spice things up, literally. They launched the Hot and Spicy McChicken, hoping to win over fans who craved some heat with their meal. Imagine biting into a crispy chicken patty, seasoned with a fiery blend of spices, topped generously with shredded lettuce and creamy mayonnaise. All of this was nestled inside a warm, lightly toasted bun. It was bold, flavorful, and packed just enough kick to satisfy spice enthusiasts. Although the hot and spicy McChicken built a loyal fan base in certain markets, it didn't quite catch fire nationwide. By 2006, McDonald's decided it wasn't popular enough to keep around, and the sandwich quietly disappeared. But its memory lives on, especially among customers who still reminisce about that spicy crunch and hope that someday it'll make a triumphant return. Strawberry Shortcake McFlurry. When McDonald's released the Strawberry Shortcake McFlurry, customers immediately fell in love. Imagine creamy vanilla soft-serve ice cream blended perfectly with sweet strawberry syrup, delicious cake pieces, and crunchy bits of shortcake topping. Every spoonful tasted just like summer, sweet, refreshing, and indulgent all at once. Even though it was introduced as a limited-time treat, it quickly became a fan favorite. Customers lined up eagerly, hoping this delicious dessert would stick around for good. Unfortunately, McDonald's eventually discontinued the Strawberry Shortcake McFlurry, leaving many dessert lovers disappointed. However, McDonald's didn't completely abandon strawberry fans. They've since introduced a Strawberry Shortcake Sundae, a simpler dessert featuring creamy vanilla ice cream topped generously with sliced strawberries and drizzled with a sweet yet tangy strawberry sauce. It's tasty, but many fans still dream of the day their beloved McFlurry makes a sweet comeback. Please comment 1 to let me know you'll be watching this video until the end. Cheddar Melt Burger. Back in 1988, McDonald's wanted to offer something richer, cheesier, and a little bit different. Enter the Cheddar Melt Burger, a hearty sandwich made with a thick, juicy beef patty topped generously with creamy cheddar cheese sauce and savory grilled onions. To make it even more distinctive, McDonald's swapped out their traditional sesame bun for a flavorful rye bun, adding a unique touch that customers hadn't seen before. The idea sounded delicious, but for some reason, the cheddar melt didn't resonate strongly enough with McDonald's regulars. Although the company tried reviving the sandwich several times in later years, it never managed to secure a permanent spot on the menu. Big and Tasty. In 1997, McDonald's wanted to take on Burger King's famous Whopper head-to-head. They introduced the Big and Tasty, aiming to give burger lovers a hearty, flavorful sandwich to rival their competitor. The Big and Tasty featured a seasoned quarter-pound beef patty grilled to perfection, topped generously with fresh lettuce, ripe tomato slices, crunchy pickles, diced onions, creamy mayonnaise, and a drizzle of ketchup, all stacked on a lightly toasted bun. It had the size, freshness, and classic taste to compete with Burger King's flagship burger, and for a while, customers loved it. But over the years, sales started to slow down. By 2011, McDonald's decided to remove the Big and Tasty from U.S. menus altogether. However, if you're traveling internationally, you might still find it, since in some countries, this tasty burger remains popular even today. Which discontinued McDonald's menu item do you miss the most, and why? Chicken fajitas. In the 1990s, McDonald's decided burgers weren't enough. They wanted a bite of the Mexican food market too. Enter their chicken fajitas, a surprising twist for a place known mainly for cheeseburgers and fries. Imagine grilled strips of seasoned chicken breast, sautéed peppers and onions, all wrapped neatly in a soft, warm tortilla. McDonald's hoped customers craving Mexican-inspired flavors would embrace this fresh, flavorful offering. Alongside the fajitas, they also introduced breakfast burritos, giving mornings a spicy kick. But unfortunately, fajitas and fries didn't quite hit the spot for most McDonald's fans. The chicken fajitas struggled to find an audience, leaving customers unsure about ordering Mexican dishes at a burger chain. It wasn't long before McDonald's quietly pulled the fajitas from their menus, deciding to stick closer to what they knew best. The breakfast burrito stuck around, but the fajitas became just another fast food memory. Eggs Benedict McMuffin. In 2016, McDonald's thought they'd elevate their breakfast menu by offering customers something a bit fancier, the Eggs Benedict McMuffin. This sandwich was meant to bring that sophisticated brunch experience to the drive-thru. Picture a toasted English muffin layered with savory ham, creamy hollandaise sauce, and egg. But here's the catch. Instead of the classic poached egg you'd expect, McDonald's simply used their standard egg patty. Customers quickly noticed the missing poached egg, and the sandwich ended up disappointing fans who were hoping for something closer to the brunch classic. Without that runny yolk and silky texture, the Eggs Benedict McMuffin couldn't win over customers. Ultimately, it didn't last very long, quickly disappearing from menus. Hot mustard sauce. McDonald's Chicken McNuggets have been a beloved staple for decades, but let's be honest, half the fun is dunking them into your favorite sauce. Over the years, McDonald's has introduced plenty of sauces to spice things up. One sauce, hot mustard, built a small but fiercely loyal fan base. Imagine a tangy mustard blended perfectly with a kick of heat, creating just the right balance of spicy and sweet. Fans loved it, but apparently, not enough people asked for it regularly. Due to slow sales, hot mustard sauce disappeared from McDonald's restaurants, leaving its dedicated followers frustrated and longing for its return. Ever since, fans have been vocal, begging McDonald's to reconsider. Although it's gone from menus, hot mustard still holds a special place in McNugget history. And who knows? Maybe someday, McDonald's will hear the fans and bring it back once again. Szechuan sauce. Back in 1998, McDonald's cooked up something special to celebrate Disney's release of Mulan. They introduced a dipping sauce unlike anything they had served before, the now famous Szechuan sauce. This flavorful sauce was a sweet and tangy blend, with just the right touch of heat inspired by traditional Asian flavors. Fans quickly became hooked, savoring every dunk of their Chicken McNuggets into the limited-time condiment. But as quickly as it appeared, it vanished, leaving fans craving more. Years later, thanks to nostalgic demand and even some viral fame from pop culture, McDonald's brought the sauce back briefly, sparking a frenzy among eager customers. Despite multiple comeback attempts, Szechuan sauce never became a permanent menu item. Sweet chili sauce. One sauce that earned a passionate following was McDonald's sweet chili sauce. Imagine dipping your crispy Chicken McNuggets into a vibrant sauce that's both sweet and slightly spicy, like classic duck sauce, but with an exciting kick from crushed red pepper flakes. Every dip gave customers the perfect blend of sweetness and heat, making it irresistible to anyone who tried it. Fans of this sauce loved how its balanced flavor complemented not only nuggets, but fries, sandwiches, and even burgers. Sadly, despite its popularity among loyal fans, sweet chili sauce didn't stick around permanently. McDonald's eventually pulled it from menus, leaving its supporters missing that sweet, spicy punch. To this day, devoted fans continue hoping McDonald's will give this sauce another chance, bringing back that perfect combination of flavors they still crave. These restaurant chains may be gone, but their flavors and memories live on in our hearts. They are a part of childhood, a part of trips, a part of simple and precious moments. Which names on this list make you smile when you remember them? Your memories are very important to us. Please share your story in the comments below. If this trip down memory lane brought back unforgettable feelings, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Also, hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next exciting journey into memories. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.